Hey everybody, it's been a while since I've shared with you some of the books that I've bought myself recently. Now, at the beginning of the year, it is always an exciting time, and I always do a little bit of shopping just for me. And today, I'm here to tell you about all of the books that I've bought myself over the last month or so that my bookshelves can make your TBR shelf explode. So let's get started. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you all doing today? As always, I hope you're happy, I hope you're healthy, I hope you're safe, and of course, I hope you're reading an amazing book or two or three or four. I love the start of a new year for many, many reasons, but one of them has to be all of the top 10 lists that come out. All of the books that are shared that people just absolutely love. They're in newspapers, they're on Booktube, they're on Instagram, they're on podcasts, and it always inspires me to do a bunch of book shopping. So today I'm here to share with you the books that I was inspired to purchase by all of those top 10 lists that I read at the start of the year. So, as always, get out your pen, get out your paper, get out your Goodreads, however you keep track of your TBR. If you are so able, please order these books from your local independent bookstores. You know they need us, as always. Or if you're a library user, get your library to get you a copy as soon as possible. Now, the first book I'm going to tell you about was inspired by my friends, the Book Cougars. You know that if you've been a member of this channel for a while, every year I go onto their podcast and we do a top 10 together, 30 books that we talk about in like a 45-minute period. And one book that would have been on both of their lists was Oh Beautiful by Jung, out from St. Martin's Press. Now, Jung was very, very much in the Booktube zeitgeist for her first novel, Shelter, and this is her sophomore book. This is the story of Eleanor Hansen, who is half Korean, half white. Her parents met while her father was overseas, and she is from this small town in Nebraska. Now, she's been away for a long time. She was a model, and she's now in her 40s and trying to sort of reinvent herself as a journalist. And she gets sent back to her home because there's been a ginormous oil boom. And when she returns home, the city's very different. The town is very different. There's a lot of new people, people brought in by this chance of making money, but also all of the people that are from there dealing with all of this change. And, the main character, Eleanor, she has to deal with a lot of things. She has to deal with how she's treated. She's in a small town in Nebraska, so there's things to deal with her race and how she's, sexualized as a woman. And all of that stuff comes together as she is returned home to write this piece. Emily raves about it. Chris raves about it. So if you don't trust me, trust the Book Cougars. But that's Oh Beautiful by Jung out from St. Martin's Press. Every book I'm going to talk about is out, so you can get your hands on them right now. The next book I bought, I want to say this was because of Daryl Sweet on Instagram, and that is My Monticello by Jocelyn Nicole Johnson. This is a collection of short stories. Now, this book is blurbed by Roxane Gay, Charles Yu, and I believe Colson Whitehead is on the front. It is a collection of short stories that centers around Virginia. And the way it says here, it's Johnson's characters traverse Virginia's landscapes, still stained by some of America's most heinous acts, in pursuit of a place called home. So I've heard nothing but fantastic things about this collection. It's super exciting for me to get my hands on it. It's not that big. I should just probably sit down and read it. So that is My Monticello by Jocelyn Nicole Johnson out from Holt Books as we speak. Okay. Next is a book that is actually, I bought it in paperback because I had seen it everywhere, and it was on all sorts of top 10 lists, and I don't know why I didn't pick it up sooner, but I actually think the paperback is absolutely beautiful. And that is The Five Wounds by Kirstin Valdez Quade, and I'm probably saying that a little bit wrong there at the end. I'm apologizing, Kirstin. This is out from Norton in paperback. And this takes place in the town of Las Peñas, New Mexico. We have a 15-year-old girl named Angel shows up pregnant on her father's doorstep, and it sort of derails all of his personal plans because his daughter is now there. She's young, she's with child, and what winds up happening is 5 different generations of the Padilla family come together. Mothers, grandmothers, uncles, all of them come together and deal with this change in the family and how all of that comes together. You know what I mean? I love a big hearted family story. I have a feeling there will be tears. I have a feeling we're going to learn a lot. And I'm excited because everyone I know that's read this and every list that I saw it on raved. So that's The 5 Wounds by Kirstin Valdez Quade. And this is out from Norton. And I just love this color blue. I could paint my whole house that color. Okay, the next book I picked up mainly just because I really liked the author's first book. I knew nothing about it, and that is Joan is Okay by Weike Wang. This is out from Random House. Now, her first book, Chemistry, again, a book that was everywhere for a while. And so I was like, why haven't I even heard of her second book? That seems unfair to me. So this is the story of Joan. Joan is 30-something ICU doctor. She is the child of Chinese immigrants. Her parents came here, and both she and her brother got very well-paying jobs. Now, Joan is sort of happily devoted to her work, to her solidarity. And when her and her brother sort of got established, her parents went back to China and established their home. Well, now the father has passed away and the mother has returned to the US, and it sort of discombobulates everything that Joan had going on. And it just takes her out of her comfort zone, out of everything that she knows and what she is used to doing, how she's used to living her life. I just remember Weike Wang has a very stark style. I really appreciate her writing aesthetic. And so I'm super excited to see what she does with this. So that's Joan is Okay by Weike Wang, and this is out from Random House. Gosh, this book, by the way, is blurbed by Celeste Ng, Singrid New Year's, Angie Kim, Jim Shepard, Rachel Kong, Ha Jin. Oh my God, so many amazing people. So clearly you need to get your hands on it right now. Okay. The next 2 books I'm going to talk about are actually from Book of the Month. So I had taken a break from Book of the Month for a while, and then I wound up getting my aunt a subscription for Christmas, and we were talking about it, and a book popped up, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go back on and do it. So I'm back dedicated to Book of the Month. I do love their selections and all of that. I am not sponsored. Just talking about stuff I love, bookish things we love. The first book that I got was Vladimir by Julia May Jonas. And I think that what really inspired me to pick this up was Hunter of Shelf by Shelf. And yeah, you'll just have to follow him and see what he did. But this book is a... So we have a couple who is in academia. I love how this blurb starts. It says, when I was a child, I loved old men, and I could tell that they loved me also. And that is sort of our narrator, who is clearly starting off with some being a little bit subversive, being a little bit edgy. But what happens is her husband, who is a professor, is accused of inappropriate relationships with students, and it's sort of it's an upheaval in their lives. But she sort of always looked the other way when he had these affairs. But now it's sort of coming forward, and now she's dealing with her own infatuation to a young celebrated novelist who's on the campus named Vladimir. And when he arrives, everything even more goes up in flames. So I think it's like a campus novel in a way, but not really. And it sounds like it's going to be super fun. So that's Vladimir by Julia May Jonas. This is out from... Let me see who the publisher is. Avid Reader Press. And I got it through Book of the Month Club. The other book I got from them is Don't Cry for Me by Daniel Black. This is out from Hanover Square Press. This is all I'm going to say about this one. I'm a sucker for epistolary novels, total sucker for it. And this is the story of a man who is sitting on his deathbed. He's not doing well. And so he decides to write letters to his son, who he hasn't spoken to for a long time. But he wants to tell his son about the family history. And it says stories about his ancestral legacy in the rural Arkansas that extended back, Arkansas, Russell, it is late on a Wednesday night and I can't even talk. So, but, you know, this rural Arkansas family that leads back, you know, the history that leads through back into slavery and wants to tell him the secrets of the family. And he does that in these letters. So that's Don't Cry for Me, Daniel Black. This is out from Hanover Square Press. See, sometimes I'm just tired at the end of the day and talking is hard. Talking is hard. Another book that I bought, I actually already talked about the first one, but that's Youth by Tove Ditlevsen. This is out from FSG, and this is translated from the Danish. I wonder if it's by the same translator that did the first book. I have to imagine. Yes, Tina Nunali. And this is part 2 of Tove Ditlevsen's memoirs. The first one was childhood, then there's youth, and then the third one is dependency. I need to get my hands on dependency. FSG also put this out as a collection, all 3 of them together, called the Copenhagen Trilogy, which you can also purchase. I just think these little ones are so cute, and to be honest, I had a hard time finding that hardback because it was clearly really, really popular. But I loved book 1 in this memoir series. I think she has such I want to say abrasive but real tone, and she just is so on the page. Like, you just get who she is. So I cannot wait to read part 2. So that's Youth by Tove Ditlevsen. This is out from FSG, and again translated from the Danish by Tina Nunali. There you go. And the covers of those are so much fun. A book that I picked up a while ago, just because I love this is from Verso Fiction, and they publish these books like this. They're just so darn cute. And so this is Happy Hour by Marlowe Granados. And again, this is the story of 2 young girls. So this is why I picked it up, if I'm going to be honest. There's a blurb that says that this has the bite of Otessa Moshfegh and the barbed charm of Nancy Mitford put together in one book. And I was just like, that sounds so interesting. But we have a young woman, she's 21 years old, and she's decided that she already understands life, and life is about pursuing pleasure. And she arrives in New York with a young girlfriend, and they are going to experience life. And so by day they work in sales, I believe, and then at night they're just going out and they're partying. And I love what it says: resources run ever tighter, and the strain tests their friendship as they try to convert social capital into something more lasting than precarious gigs as au pairs, nightclub hostess, paid audience members, and aspiring foot fetish models. I just think it sounds like it's going to be such a trip. So that's Happy Hour by Marlowe Granados. This is out from Verso Fiction, and I just think it is so darn cute. Okay, another book in translation that I picked up because of Jen Campbell, who I don't think I've talked about on my channel in quite a bit. Love Jen Campbell so much. But I saw that she had been reading There's No Such Thing as an Easy Job by Kikuko Tsumura. This is out from Bloomsbury, and it's translated from the Japanese by Polly Barton. And so I just love the premise of this book. So, and the audacity of the main character. So she's a young woman. She walks into a employment agency, and she basically says, I'm looking for a job. It has to have these 3 factors. 1, it has to be close to where I live. 2, it can't require a lot of thinking, so very little thinking. And ideally, she wants to be able to sit in a chair. And the recruiter's like, I have stuff for you. I definitely do. And she goes through all of these jobs. One is She writes trivia for an absurd competitive cracker company, which I think sounds hilarious. She punches tickets for a haunted, supposedly haunted park. And as these jobs are just sort of sitting there and she's just sort of doing it, she starts to realize that there's maybe more to it all. And that she discovers that, you know, the alternative to what goes on in the day-to-day comes at a price. And so can you ignore what's going on in the world? So I love, love, love There's No Such Thing as an Easy Job by Kikuko. I'm saying that wrong. I thought I was saying it right. Tsumura. This is out from Bloomsbury. Again, translated from the Japanese by Polly Barton. Okay, last two, I promise. This book was everywhere. Don't ask me why I did not pick up Infinite Country by Patricia Engel. I cannot tell you why. And this is out from Avid Reader Press as well. It was a Reese Book Club pick. It was everywhere. I wanted to read it, and I don't know why. So set in Colombia, our main character is in sort of being held, Talia, I think is her name, Talia. She's being held in a correctional facility for adolescent girls in the mountains of Colombia. But she really needs to get back to Bogota because her father is waiting there with a plane ticket to leave the country so she can go see the rest of her family that she hasn't seen in some time. And the book is about them, how they all got to these very different places and how they all come together and how that story all intertwines. You know, it's going to be about family. It's going to be about separation. It's going to be about all of that. And it sounds so good. That's Infinite Country by Patricia Engel. This is out from Avid Reader Press. Last but not least, this was on a bunch of lists, but I don't know that I've seen it on any channels. But don't quote me on that. You know, I'm not great on remembering, but this is Ghosts by Dolly Alderton, and this is out from Knopf. This cover is gorgeous. So this is the story of Nina. And so at the start of the book, she is not extremely bothered with the fact that she's just a single successful woman. She's about to publish her second novel, and she's got a great relationship with her friends, with her ex-boyfriend, and she's fulfilled. But then she gets on a dating app and she meets this guy, I believe his name is Max. Yes. And he seems perfect. Everything that she wants. And then he ghosts her. And for those of you that don't know, because I'm not always up on everything, ghost means he just sort of disappears. He stops responding, right? And in doing so, in her dealing with being ghosted, everything else sort of crashes in on Nina. The fact that her father is struggling with Alzheimer's, that her mother is in denial because of it, that her editor hates her new book, and that her friends may be also sort of taking a step aside and not being as involved in her life. I don't know. That sounds really, really good. I'm glad I picked it up. So that's Ghosts by Dolly Alderton. This is out from Knopf, and you can get your hands on all of these books absolutely right now. I'm not going to try to put them in a stack. Y'all, they're very, very tall. I don't want to drop them everywhere. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope at least one or two or all of them wound up on your TBR. I think they are all an exciting group of books. If you are new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you hit subscribe. I hope you click the bell, all of that stuff. If you are one of my return subscribers, I absolutely could not do this without you. Thank you so very, very much. I appreciate you more than you even know. As always, I encourage you to read globally, shop locally, and until next time, I wish you happy reading. Bye, everyone.